guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to a random lifestyle vlog. If you're new here, my name is Paulina. This channel is all about beauty, and today we're going to continue talking about advent calendars. So this is the fourth installment of this series, potentially the last one as well. I think we have most of the multi-branded advent calendars revealed by now. So unless there are some advent calendars that will just magically appear here and there, I mean, it's still possible. It's only September, right? So there is still a chance that something will emerge in like October or whatever, but otherwise it seems like most of the advent calendars have already been revealed. There are still some question marks, like we are not sure what's going on with Net-a-Porter. I heard they're not doing an advent calendar this year, but what does that mean? Does that mean that they're not doing an advent calendar, but they might be doing something else, like, you know, like a Christmas box? Like, for example, last year they had this like a stunning lantern with like some really gorgeous items inside. So maybe they'll do something like this, or does it mean that they're not going to do anything like Christmas related? Not too sure. Same thing with Fenwick. I haven't really heard anything of the advent calendar this year, and there's one more that I've been actually waiting for and like nothing so far, and this is Elle advent calendar. Again, no information as to whether they're even going to have an advent calendar this year. I mean, they had an advent calendar for like years, so that would be pretty surprising if they decided not to do one this year, but who knows. There's also Cohorted. They actually confirmed the advent calendar like months ago. I think it was in May or something crazy like that, but since then I haven't heard anything. I think I joined their waitlist and that's it for now. So who knows, this might be the last part of the series, or there might be like one more later on. We'll see. Anyway, if you haven't seen the previous videos and you would like to watch them, I'm going to link them in the description box below. Okay, that's that. Let's jump in now and let's talk about the newly revealed advent calendars. So I'm going to start with the ones that are already available. Some brands decided like not really to reveal their content until pretty much until the last day before like release, and that was Glossybox, for example. So we literally found out what's inside like shortly before it was released. This advent calendar costs £85 this year, or £70 for Glossybox subscribers, with a value of £585. Last year the price was £80 with the value of £473. It contains 29 products. 18 of those are supposed to be full sizes. So what do we have inside? So we have 9 makeup products. Some of them are actually quite interesting. That also includes a large iconic London eyeshadow palette, which, you know, I always feel like I need to mention that because we don't really have that many eyeshadow palettes this year in you know, the advent calendars that we talk about. But you know what? No, that's not really the case. It feels like cheaper advent calendars usually have a palette of some sort, whereas the pricey ones, not so much. Like, it's very rare to find an advent calendar that costs over £150 and has some eyeshadow palettes in it. So interesting. Anyway, what else? We have 1 candle, 1 fragrance, 3 hair items. There are some accessories though, and that includes a set of 3 brushes, which is fine. That's like a good type of accessory that you can find in an advent calendar. There are wristbands, and these seem to be very popular this year. Wristbands can be quite useful, especially when you're like removing your makeup or like washing your face and you don't really want to get your like sleeves wet. Makes sense, makes perfect sense, but you probably only need like 1 pair. So if you're buying like several advent calendars, you might actually end up with like several sets of those wristbands. So we've got these brushes, wristbands, we have a sleeping mask that is not particularly exciting anymore, I feel like, and there's a brow applicator that actually comes with this brow product by e.l.f., but it's actually listed as a separate product, so I thought I would mention it here. Not particularly exciting, that one, is it? So what do I think about this advent calendar? I think it's not really bad. I mean, it does offer a really good value for money, especially if you are a Glossybox subscriber and you're only going to pay £70. There is an Avant product inside that obviously kind of like artificially increases the value of the advent calendar. Don't get me wrong, I actually do like Avant. I think they are like solid products, but their value is nowhere near what they claim. But even with that, I still think this is a pretty good value for money. Next up we have Boots. Boots released 3 advent calendars this year. So we have 24-day of beauty advent calendar, then we have 12-day luxury advent calendar, and the last one is 24-day of skincare. So I'm going to start with the 24-day of beauty one because this one is the most comparable to the last year's advent calendar. So this advent calendar is priced at £99 with a value of £365. Last year we had the same price, £99, with a value of £467. So the value this year is £100 less, and unfortunately, you can tell. I've actually unboxed this advent calendar already, so I have like pretty strong opinions about it. I'm not saying it's all bad, but you know, the bar was really high after last year. In 2023, the advent calendar was so good. Probably one of the best, cheaper advent calendars on the market. This year, something went a little bit wrong. So what's inside? We have 9 makeup items. Most of them are okay, but there's also like mini Laguna bronzer by NARS, which I don't know, at that point, I don't really think this is a very exciting item. We have 2 hair products, but they make a really weird set. I'm not really sure who figured that out, but we do have this like massive full-size shampoo, like a bottle of shampoo. And then the other product is Philip Kingsley leave-in conditioner. But it's one of those kind of like a very watery ones that you use to detangle your hair maybe, or kind of like protect your hair against heat damage, that kind of thing. So both products are okay, but they don't really make much sense together. Whenever I see a shampoo in my advent calendar, I really like to see a nice conditioner. Like, it doesn't have to be a matching conditioner, but you know, something like a hair, or like a hair mask maybe. Whereas these 2 products together were a bit random. Okay, what next? We have one fragrance, and this is by Sol de Janeiro and number 76. So this is their new scent, which is great, but what is not great is that this is not a full-size item. This is 30 ml, so not tiny either, but it's more of a travel size. So yeah, again, I mean, putting like a full-size Sol de Janeiro item here would make this advent calendar instantly look a little bit better. There are no accessories here though, so that's a good thing, I guess. So yeah, generally not a bad advent calendar. Some items are pretty good in there. But as I said, the bar was set pretty high last year, and I think it's impossible not to compare. And if you compare these 2 advent calendars, I mean, last year is winning 100%. So as I said, possibly not the worst advent calendar in the world, but a lot of room for improvement. Next one is 12-day luxury advent calendar by Boots. The price is the same, £99, with a value of £360. And this is another advent calendar I actually unboxed, and I have to admit I actually like this one. So first of all, we only have full-size items inside, which is great. I mean, that's what you expect from a luxury advent calendar. Even though the price and the value are similar to our 24-day advent calendar by Boots, this one was definitely much more exciting, much more satisfying to unbox. I think this one was really good. So amongst those 12 items, you will find 6 makeup products, which if you love makeup, this advent calendar could potentially be a really good one for you. And you know what? These makeup items are actually pretty good too. So we have Huda Beauty 9-pound palette, we have Bobbi Brown iconic eyeshadow in Moon Dust, we have Too Faced highlighter, we have a mascara, we have an eyeliner, some lip products as well. So like a little bit of everything, and nice brands, nice sizes, like literally nothing to complain about. We also have 2 hair products, we have some skincare, there is also a Sol de Janeiro shower gel, like in full size, and that's a little bit different too. We always get those kind of like body butters and or fragrance sprays. The shower gel, I've actually never seen that in an advent calendar. And then the last advent calendar by Boots that they released this year is 24-day of skincare one. By the way, all 3 of these advent calendars are already available. So if you fancy any of these, you can get one now. This advent calendar costs £65 with a value of £242. So it's much cheaper than the other 2. Not bad, but there are some questionable choices that were made during curating this advent calendar. So we have like 2 tanning products, 2 bottles of micellar water, 2 face oils, 2 face mists. I'm not really sure why they doubled so many products. There are quite a lot of like sunscreen products, quite a lot of cleansers. We have plenty of serums and moisturizers, and they are all hydrating. And then we also have a couple of items for like acne prone skin. So up until this point, I would probably say this is a really great advent calendar for someone younger, for someone in like their teens or like early 20s maybe. At that age, you don't really need that many active ingredients. You probably should focus on like cleansing and hydration and using your sunscreen. So that sounds pretty good, right? But then suddenly we have this one random anti-wrinkle serum in here. So that made me a little bit confused. But I still think think this advent calendar is probably great for a young person. It has a nice selection of products, a lot of cheaper but reliable brands. So yeah, not bad. I don't think I'll be purchasing this advent calendar just to show you, because it doesn't seem to me like I would use most of these products anyway. Okay, so we're moving on to a very expensive advent calendar now, and this is Vogue. And many of you were like super interested in this year's advent calendar reveal, and many of you felt quite disappointed, and I have to admit, so did I. Initially, when I saw the contents, I was like, it's not really as good as last year's. But then I started analyzing and I realized I'm kind of like warming up to it. So let me just walk you through the details. And I'm actually going to compare the contents to the last year's advent calendar so that I can explain how I went from not impressed to it's pretty good. So the price of this year's Vogue advent calendar is £355 with a whopping value of £1,650. That is a really good value. This is the highest value on the market. Last year, Vogue advent calendar was priced at £350, so £5 cheaper, with a value of £1,500. This advent calendar is available to pre-order now. So, what's inside? First of all, we have 5 makeup-ish items, and I have to admit these are a bit hit or miss. So we have a Laura Mercier caviar stick, and I'm not saying this is a bad product, not at all, but the thing is, I've seen these caviar sticks in multiple cheaper advent calendars, and that's why it doesn't really feel particularly luxurious or special or like whatever to have it in this super expensive Vogue advent calendar. We also have 2 bottles of nail polish, and then we have like 2 lip products. One of them is by Charlotte Tilbury, the other one is by Rodial. So I wouldn't say it's the most exciting curation, but to be completely honest, last year's makeup part wasn't that impressive either. Like, there were a couple of nice items, but nothing spectacular. So I'll probably say the skincare is where this advent calendar shines. This is the star of the show. We have like really fancy brands, really nice sizes, and this seems to be the best and most kind of like valuable part of this advent calendar. It was the same last year, but one big difference that I've noticed this year is that we don't have any minis. Like, all the items inside are full sizes. We don't have any minis and we don't have any travel size. And I don't know if you remember, because I didn't, but there were plenty of travel sizes and minis, like tiny minis in last year's advent calendar. I completely forgot about it. Like, it was just wiped out of my memory, and I was like really shocked to see that yes, in fact, there were like 2 of those kind of like tiny little face masks by Sisley, you know, the ones like that 10 mils each or something. And there was like a bunch of some other samples. I think these were by Clé de Peau, like 4 or 5 kind of like tiny little products. And then we have quite a few of like travel sizes too. If you don't believe me, I'm going to link my unboxing of last year's advent calendar somewhere here. You can just go and check yourself. But yeah, this year we don't really have that issue. Everything seems nice and full sized. So that is a big improvement. As far as fragrances go, we have 1 fragrance, so just like last year, but again, this fragrance is a full-size bottle. So this is a 30 ml bottle of Goddess by Burberry, and this is a really beautiful warm vanilla fragrance with some lavender. Very nice. It is very pretty. It is very easy to like. Last year we only had like a mini by Kilian, I think. It was like 7.5 mils. So again, we have a little bit of improvement here. Next up, we have candles. So we only have 1 candle this year. Last year we had 2. I love candles. I wouldn't mind having another candle in this year's advent calendar, but the fact that we only have 1 is not really a deal breaker for me either. So that's fine. I would prefer to have 2, but I'm fine with 1 as well. We have 2 hair products. Last year there was 3 of those, and this year we actually have 2 devices. So one of them is a Beauty Pro anti-aging device, and then the other one is Foreo Luna, which is the cleansing kind of like brush thing. Last year we only had 1 device, and that was for your UFO, which was the kind of like mask boosting something device. So I'm not really sure what to think about that. I don't really care much for the Foreo Luna cleansing thing. I think the last year's one was a little bit more interesting, but then we have this like Beauty Pro anti-aging device, which sounds a little bit more interesting to me. So not really sure how I feel about that. When it comes to jewelry, we have only 1 set of earrings. Last year we actually had 3 pieces of jewelry, and that was a set of earrings, a necklace, and a bracelet. Personally, I love the jewelry. I wish we had more of that this year too. I would trade my For You Luna thing for like another extra jewelry item. So yeah, here's where the 2023 advent calendar wins for me. Okay, let's move on to the most controversial part of like any advent calendar: accessories. So we have like 2 repeats in this year's advent calendar. Like, you know, they're not like proper repeats, but pretty much. So we have a sleeping mask and a set of cashmere socks. And as much as the sleeping mask looks quite different from what we had last year, I mean, it's like a different pattern and all, the cashmere socks look very similar. Like, they're not identical, they're by different brand, but they do look very similar. On the other hand, you can probably use another pair of socks after a year, whereas there's only so many sleeping masks like anyone will use in their life. I mean, if you even use these. So yeah, we've got that. And then this year we had 2 more kind of items in this kind of accessories category. We have a set of playing cards and we have a silk scarf. Last year we had only 1 extra item, and that was a card holder. So to sum this up, I actually changed my mind. I was a little bit disappointed with the contents and I just walked through it, and I quite like it now. I think the skincare is fabulous this year. I love the fact that we don't have any minis. The makeup part is mediocre, but that's fine. It wasn't that great last year either, and I still love their advent calendar. I wish there was more jewelry in this year's advent calendar, but I'm really happy with the fact that we don't have any more minis. So I think the pros and cons kind of like balance each other out. I don't know if I will like this advent calendar more or less than last year's. I'll probably find out once I unbox it, but so far so good. I'm not disappointed anymore, and I'm actually quite excited to receive it like at some point. I'm not too sure when they're going to ship it. Okay, next up quickly, OK Beauty advent calendar. This year they collaborated with Hannah Martin to create their advent calendar. Last year it was just OK Beauty without any collaboration. This year the calendar costs £90 with a value of £570. Last year the price was £95 with a value of £665. So the value was £100 more, but I need to point something out. They did have an Avant product inside last year, so I guess it kind of explains the decrease in value in a very reasonable way. I quite like the advent calendar last year, but I think this one looks pretty good too. So I hope that difference in value is not really going to be that visible because of the lack of Avant product. So this advent calendar launches on the 1st of October. It contains 28 products, 17 out of these are full sizes, although we can't really verify that because they haven't confirmed the sizes yet, so we can only guess, judging by the pictures, whether these are in fact full sizes. So the advent calendar includes 11 makeup items, so that's pretty good. Quite a lot of like lip products in it, but that seems to be the trend this year. There's 1 fragrance, there are no accessories. It does look pretty good to me. I'm definitely going to pick this one up. Next up we have Marks & Spencer advent calendar. It costs £50 this year with a spend of £30, so you have to spend £30 on like some other items from like beauty, clothing, and I think home category, and then you're getting this advent calendar for £50. It is worth over £300 this year. Last year the price of this advent calendar was £45 with a £35 spend. The value last year was £340. This advent calendar launches on the 24th of October. It contains 25 products, 11 full sizes. There are 2 fragrances inside, 5 makeup items, but that also includes like 2 bottles of nail polish. There are 6 hair products, no accessories. Not bad for the price, really. There are some items in there that are a little bit different to what we usually get in advent calendars, so that could be a little bonus here. Okay, so this is as far as the multi-branded advent calendars go. I have a couple of single-branded advent calendars to mention quickly before we finish this video. So I'm going to go straight there and start with Charlotte Tilbury. So her advent calendar this year is priced at £170 with the value of £243. Last year it was priced at £160. This advent calendar is available now. The box is stunning. So it's this beautiful chest, but in a kind of like a heart shape. I was literally thinking of buying this advent calendar just to get that box, but that's not particularly reasonable, is it? And as far as the contents go, I don't know, I'm not really convinced. It has 3 full-size items, which I guess is better than last year, because last year we only had like 2 full-size items, and also one of the items was like a brush or something, like a makeup brush, so that was a little bit of a weird choice. So yeah, it's better than last year. But I actually checked, and like 2 or 3 years ago we actually had 5 full-size items. So like, what happened? Like, why can't we have some more like full sizes in here? I don't know, but I feel like those mystery boxes by Charlotte Tilbury, they offer so much better value usually. I mean, obviously you're not going to get this like a stunning advent calendar kind of like jewelry box that your advent calendar contents comes in, but if you're interested more in like Charlotte Tilbury products versus the kind of like stunning keepsake boxes, then I guess probably getting a mystery box is a bit better idea from the financial point of view. Okay, the last 2 advent calendars I'm going to quickly mention is Jo Malone advent calendar. This year it's priced at £360. Last year it was £350, and not really much changed here. We have pretty much everything you can expect from a Jo Malone advent calendar. So you have lots of like mini fragrances, lots of mini candles, some like body products, all things like this. It is a really nice advent calendar for someone who either loves the brand or wants to discover the brand and the product. And then the last one is Molton Brown. This year it is priced at £225. Last year the price was £210, and I find it quite interesting with Molton Brown. I buy it like every other year. Like, I don't know why, but one year I just love it and I need to have it, and then the following year I'm not impressed. So last year I wasn't impressed, so this year no surprise here. I actually love the contents, I love the scents that are inside, so I think I'm going to get it this year. But to be honest, I'm not in a rush. This advent calendar very rarely sells out like super quick. It usually gets reduced at some point, or at least you can maybe get some sort of like a gift or purchase with it. So I'm going to wait for a good moment to buy it, but I think I'm going to treat myself to this one. Anyway guys, this is everything I've prepared for today. What do you think about the advent calendars so far? Do you think there are going to be any more advent calendar reveals, like here in the UK specifically? Because I know there are still probably like plenty of advent calendars, like American advent calendars or continental European ones to be revealed, but it feels like here in the UK we're like almost done. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to rewatch any of the previous advent calendar videos, I'm going to just put them here. And this is everything from me today. I'm going to see you soon. Take care. Bye.